How's everybody doing? We're getting ready to just start. For those of you in the back, this is like an intimate session, so don't be afraid. There's actually keys to a Chevy taped to the bottom of one of these chairs. So if you guys come on up closer, we're very attractive people also, I think, if you see us closer, because I know a couple of you in the back are very nearsighted, so come closer. We're going to have a really fun discussion. We're going to show some examples, so I'd love to see all of you up here. So my name is Lori H. Schwartz. I'm going to be your moderator for this panel. This is actually the last session of the, Tech to Lead a Better Life, to Lead a Good Life, and we're very excited to wrap it up with some insights about really interesting technology that is going to change how we live and how it's all coming together. Have any of you had a chance to walk the Venetian at all? The Venetian Expo? It's absolutely fascinating this year. I'm privileged enough through my company Storytech to provide show floor tours for CES, and so I've been on that floor a lot the last couple of days. And one of the most exciting things is the decision for CTA to literally move digital health and wellness to the Venetian, where there was all this lifestyle tech. And so now what we have on that Venetian floor is not just a series of products all over the place, but it's really a whole expo dedicated to how we're going to live. And so on this great panel, we're going to really dig into it. So to kick us off, I want to introduce an old friend of mine, Sandy Abrams, and she's going to help us get into the zone of thinking about all of this.
That's right. Thank you. This is going to be an amazing conversation about the importance of measuring and understanding key biomarkers for our well-being. And I'm here to share just about 2 minutes of breath practice with you, because breath is a really powerful modality for wellness to help you improve things like stress and lower your blood pressure, improve your heart rate variability, to sleep better and improve your cognition. So I'm going to share 3 breath practices that will help you calm and relax your nervous system. So let's begin by getting comfortable in your chairs and closing your eyes. When was the last time you closed your eyes during the day? Notice how luxurious this can just feel on its own. And the first breath practice that we're going to do, I'll explain it so you can keep your eyes closed if you'd like, is called a physiological sigh. It's the fastest way to calm your nervous system, and it's 2 parts on the inhale through your nose. The first part, you fill up your lungs about 3/4 of the way full, and then the second part, you just completely fill your lungs, and then the exhale through your mouth. We'll do 2 of these together. It sounds like this. And that's something you can do anywhere, anytime. The second breath practice is called humming or buzzing breath. And this activates your vagus nerve, the vagus nerve, which is responsible for relaxing your nervous system. And humming or bumblebee breath sounds like this. Again, you'll be inhaling through your nose, and on the entire exhale, you make a humming, buzzing sound. For the entire length of your exhale. Let's just do 1 of these together. Slowly inhale through your nose and exhale. Sometimes just 1 of those really feels like you hit the jackpot for relaxation. The third breath tool for calming your nervous system that we're going to do today is to make your exhales twice as long as your inhales. So let's take an inhale and exhale either through the nose or mouth, making it feel about twice as long. Slow exhale. Let your shoulders come away from your ears. We'll do 2 of these. Inhaling, even smile on the inhale. It changes your biochemistry. And lean into that slow, long exhale. 1 more of these at your own pace. Inhale. Slowly exhale. And again, take these practices home with you because they can be done in small moments throughout the day to help you relax your nervous system. Thanks for breathing and enjoy the panel.
Thank you.
Let's have a calm hand for Sandy. That was great. And I love that all of you did it. Not that I was not having my eyes closed too. Okay. All right, so I want to do just a speed round to introduce our speakers today, who are each coming with a very unique value prop on this concept, and then we're going to dig in a little bit more to each of them. So let's start with you, Thomas, and just go down the line for a little speed intro.
So I'm Thomas Serval. I'm the CEO of Barracuda, and we focus on turning your bathroom into a primary point of care by collecting data from a lot of useful and usual devices.
Hi everyone, Pranitha Patil. I am co-founder and COO of Function Health. We are a all-in-one healthcare platform that looks at comprehensive analysis of all of your organs and your organ systems, and I'll get into that in a little bit.
Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Ramses Al-Kaid. I am the CEO of Neurable, and we work on brain-computer interfaces, specifically to help track brain-related disease states, think of neurodegenerative diseases or neurodiverse issues, but in everyday wearables.
This is so exciting because they're all collecting data in different ways. So we're going to really get into how significant this is. So Thomas, I know you want to show us some slides and dig in a little deeper. And while Thomas is making his way up to the computer, how many of you, just raise your hand, are leveraging wearables of some kind right now in your life? Okay, great. And then how many of you are leveraging connected solutions in your home that are reporting back data on how you live? One of you, okay. And how many of you are making products in this space right now? Okay, and some of you are strategists or just, are any of you in the medical profession? Okay, any of you under felony investigation? Okay, just checking. All right, Thomas, go ahead.
We're just waiting for the clicker here.
Thank you. So Barracuda started 10 years ago because my daughter was not brushing her teeth correctly. And I invented a smart toothbrush called Colibri, which is a hummingbird, so it resonates with the last exercise we just done. We found a way to track the way she was brushing her teeth. So somehow one of the most insightful information, how do you children do when they brush their teeth? And we extended this, from this insight, we extended our vision of if we could know what's happening in everybody's bathroom without jeopardizing anybody's privacy. It's such a great place to collect the most valuable data about your health. You spend on average 1 hour in your bathroom every day. A mirror or a sensor are seeing you always under the same angle, which is a terrific data set. And you will not bring many new devices. Actually, 82% of the people are already bringing their phone despite the privacy challenges. So what we have been doing is trying to wire correctly the bathroom. So starting with the toothbrushes, then we invented a smart bath mat, then a smart screen, which we call a smart mirror. And then we turned it into a platform, which is the best way to collect data, but also to add other devices to the ecosystem. And we believe this is going to be the future whether we want it or not. And this vision has been proven true because A, we are lucky to be 10 years in a row award winners at CES, so at least the journalists like us, but also because we see adoption across the world where there is not enough doctors and practitioners of healthcare, or you have a growing population of aging people for which the first reason for them to move out of their home is actually that they can no longer use their bathroom in a proper way. So with this vision, I'm just trying to, we try to build the underlying platform that, number one, we are European, it's critical for us, protect your data, so it's privacy by design, otherwise it would be illegal. There's a growing number of challenges because in a bathroom you have, in Asia, 3 generations overlapping to each other. In Europe and US, 2 generations, but basically their needs and interface should be different. And so platform by platform, the first one which has direct impact on your health, and we keep discovering new insights is what's happening in your mouth. I think almost 80% of all the diseases are actually caught through your mouth. So knowing what's going on in your mouth is actually a great way to diagnose or prevent a lot of things. And also know that with children, proper health habits are actually increasing their life expectancy by 10 years. So it's not minimal. And the number one reason why people in emerging countries are not going to school is actually oral care diseases. I'm just trying to get to the slide. So what a bathroom that is fully connected will mean, with a smart bath mat, we can collect your weight. As you probably know, if you combine your weight and your height, you have your life expectancy with a 5% accuracy. Insurers have got it since 1943. Oral care, I already mentioned. And the mirror, the smart mirror, we introduced last year at CES, a mirror called Be Mind. 25% of Americans wake up in the morning with a little low moment, little depressed times. There is not $100 million of psychiatrists that can deal with those things. AI is the only way forward. And so by building some smart way to do triage about how well are you doing, and so we invented a way to ask you how you're doing. And by just listening to you, we get so much more information beyond your language. We understand what you say, I'm great. We understand the way you say it, I'm great. Actually, your sound means you're not great. And we understand your posture, which is also a great message. So beyond the biomarker and the things that are very hard to catch, there is a lot of signals that are low-hanging fruit for us to work on the future of healthcare. The other thing we have been working on recently is a smart bath mat. It was also 2 CES awards. So you walk on the bath mat and we track your weight. Your weight is one of the most interesting information, but beyond the weight, your balance. The one reason why you have a problem in your home is you're falling. And the risk of falling is now, based on the data, something we can predict. Falling is not an accident. It's actually a dysfunction of some of your major muscle, and you have 4 systems in your body to rebalance you, which have become defect, either by brain damage or by just aging, you're falling. And then usually it's a very bad prediction for your health expectancy. And the good news about that is now we know it's somehow a disease. There is a way to reverse those symptoms. And by doing simple exercise every day, and that's what this mattress, which has been awarded best startup in Korea, which is the most aging population right now, we can find a way for this to work. Analyzing your skin, melanoma, most of the mirrors, most of the cancer are not happening every day, overnight. They are actually a long decay of some things that you can actually collect in some cancer, not all, but collecting the inner markers, fluids, and the outside visible markers is actually a good way to help diagnose what's going on with your skin. And last but not least, I think it's important. The challenge for wearables is actually when the battery is dead, you no longer wear them. And which means that all the data collection, which I call daily health tech, or longitudinal healthcare, is lost. And I bought 6 versions of my Apple Watch, and I have no longer, because at some point, actually it happens 2 days after CES, battery is dead, and the data set that I can collect is no longer accurate because it's interrupted. So with this, we have been, what we have been able to do was to use your body as a battery. So that was also a 2023 CES award. And this wristband is actually very promising for all people who need long-term tracks of their vital. We measure HRV, we measure activity and temperature, whether it's for human health, for aging people, or for everybody that wants to take care of their health. And it's not that complicated. So on that note, those are all the new devices we are bringing together. And if you want to visit our booth, what we are showing is actually the underlying platform we call BeConnect that enable the creation of all those devices and new devices, allowing those devices to be interoperable, not only ours, but also all the 65 makers of devices that collect well-being or healthcare data, and making those data available for further research, further discovery, has probably a huge impact on longevity and well-being. Thank you very much.
I wanted to just ask you, just really quickly, have you seen folks that are using your solutions or what other data you're collecting, are they getting more used to this idea of having all these connected solutions? You know, is it something that we're all jumping into quickly?
Well, each new data source opens new opportunities. Initially, the scale we wanted to do for just monitoring your weight, and now we discover we can actually predict falling. So that's a typical usage. Another one we have had with a toothbrush was that we invented the connected toothbrush because my daughter was not brushing her teeth. Then we receive emails from parents of people who have autism, and brushing your teeth if you have an autistic child is a nightmare. Suddenly you can focus the attention of the child on playing a game, and then it becomes easy. So not only applications are invented by even a researcher, but actually users find new ways to use your tools beyond what the inventor have thought through.
Now that's so interesting. All right, and I think we're going to find a lot of commonalities between these guys once we dig in a little bit more. So let's go over to Pranitha. Tell us about your fabulous company, which I can't wait to use myself.
I love it. Can I have the clicker? Thank you. And yeah, so Pranitha Patil, co-founder, COO. And I will just take you into kind of how we're thinking about our platform and what we do. I think we know, especially if we're at CES, that the applications of AI with healthcare are finally actually here. What we are with Function Health is we are an annual membership for $500 a year. We start with diagnostic testing, so blood and urine that you collect at your local Quest Diagnostics. Once you complete those tests, it's about 100 biomarkers. We're looking at all organs and organ systems, your heart, your hormones, your liver, your thyroid. We're really getting a full view of what's happening with your body. And then we're presenting that information back to you in a digestible, actionable way. And then over time, how we think about this is we apply past medical records, self-reported data, and any other data sets that you can think about. Think imaging, think your wearable that you're wearing, stool testing, saliva testing. We really think of ourselves as a platform, but today what we focus on is $500 for those 100 biomarkers twice a year to establish a baseline. And this is just quickly kind of how it works. Once you set up your account, you schedule your lab tests, those results are tracked in this dashboard. These are the tests that we do. I won't sit here and list all of them, but they're meant to be incredibly comprehensive because if you go to a traditional physician today, your annual physical, you're getting about 15 to 20 biomarkers done. They see you, they say, okay, cool, you look great, see you in a couple years, unless you come back with something severe. And that's what we're trying to fix. We're trying to say, let's be as proactive as possible. Let's really understand what's happening in our body because we deserve to have that information on our health. The science is there. There's been only a delay and a hierarchy in getting that information into people's hands in a proactive way. So this is the list of 100 tests that we do. We also have a host of add-ons. So you'll see cancer detection, autoimmunity, allergy. We just released several other add-ons that look at PFAS and a couple other just new tests that really take 18 years to get to market. We're trying to say, let's get you access as soon as the research and the data and the test is there. I'll just quickly talk you through kind of the dashboard once you do get your tests. You'll see here your biological age, the biomarkers that you've gotten tested, and we go category by category, so by organ system, kind of how you're doing, and we'll take you into specifics. So look here, this is HSCRP, why does it matter? A summary, the causes, foods you might eat, foods you should limit, other things that you might find beneficial of like what's going on. And in that chart, you'll see that tracks over time, which if I ask probably this audience, I don't know who has their electronic medical records in a clean, easy to access way today. This is meant to not only be that, but say, hey, here's actually what you should do about it. We also obviously provide clinician notes. So a clinician actually goes through your entire medical history as well as the biomarkers that you got tested to provide you with a summary of, what's the most important thing you need to be focusing on today, because it can be kind of overwhelming to get results for 100 plus biomarkers. So that is provided here, and then a clean action plan as your health stack. I will tell a quick story of an individual. His name is Jeff. He was able to find prostate cancer through the Gallery test. I speak to members every single day, and it's incredible to really hear and understand how folks' lives are being changed with this, because they're proactively able to identify not just cancer, but hypertension, cardiovascular risk. The list goes on things folks are able to find proactively and actually make a change in their day-to-day. And then I'll end with our founding team, and you can join by going to functionhealth.com if you want.
Awesome. I'm so going. Before we jump over to Ramses, I just wanted to ask you, you have some unique brand partnerships with what you would call other category brands like Equinox, and I think you also have one with Thrive Global. Can you just talk a little bit about how that fills out the story of what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, if you take a step back, this is an 8 billion person problem. This is not just a handful of people that need this. When we go out and talk to potential partners, you can think about Function as a platform and apply your gym and your fitness on top of your biomarkers. You can apply Thrive Global, you can apply grocery stores. You can really think about this as applied as a foundation, which is why when we speak to potential partners, it's a no-brainer. Because this data has been lacking for so long that folks want the access to what's going on in their body, and then they can make more informed decisions about how they should live their life versus going off of a symptom.
That's awesome. I just like the idea of all of it coming together, because how many of you have like a separate app maybe for your scale and a separate app for your diet and exercise and all of that? So it would be wonderful to have it sort of all talk to each other,
Yes.
which I know is the goal for all of you. All right, let's jump over to Ramses, and then again, after Ramses goes, we're going to connect back to everybody. So Ramses, take it over.
Hey, before I get started though, I want to ask for a volunteer. Does somebody want to come up here and do something with their brain real quick? Just raise your hand. I need one. I'm not moving forward until I get a volunteer, so
Ramses, I'll do it if nobody will do it. So.
let's try to get somebody from the audience.
Come on up.
real quick. Come on.
Yay.
Let's make this engaging.
hand.
Come on.
Let's have a
There we
hand.
go.
Woo!
Thank you. All right, let's get my slides up real quick.
Are we going to find out anything weird about you?
You come up here. You're going to sit up here with me.
That's great.
What's your name? Aiden. Avon. Thank you, Avon. Awesome. Have a seat right here. We'll get to you in just a second. So really what we work on at Neurable is trying to unlock the mind, right? A lot of you have wearable devices. Could you just raise your hand if you have one? Yeah, pretty much everybody here, right? That's why we're all biased in this area. But outside of this group, 3 out of 10 people have a wearable device, right? It's primarily used for things like understanding the body at scale and longitudinally. That's the thing that wearable devices really are changing the world with, right? Right now, when you go to the doctor, you just get a snapshot of what your life is and what your state is. And some of these wearable companies up here are changing that. But that's the big win, being able to do at-scale longitudinal analysis about your body. But the key thing is, what about your brain? The most important organ in your body, right? Why aren't we tracking that, right? And there is technology to track that. They're called brain-computer interfaces. They're basically technology that allows you to read brain activity and then use it to control other types of systems or better understand yourself. And I'll tell you why these systems aren't everyday devices. It's because essentially, even though they have this huge amount of aspects that you can track and look at, imagine tracking Alzheimer's before you get it, right? Imagine tracking your focus. Even though the value proposition is enormous for these devices, they look like this, right? They're large cap systems with gel electrodes, essentially prongs that go through your hair. And while it would be incredible to have this type of technology and to be able to track these biomarkers, something that no other type of device can, we're limited to this type of form factor. And that's where Neurable comes in. It was developed in 2011. It's a signal processing technology from the University of Michigan that boosts the signal of brain data. So instead of having to use these large head cap systems that you see here to your left, we essentially boost the signal and we can bring it down to a pair of headphones. So here I have a beautiful pair of headphones. They're a premium end headphone from a company called Master Dynamic. We license our AI to this device. On the inside, you will see these gray bands. In Avon, you're going to be controlling something with your brain. Okay. Yeah, how cool is that, right? So go ahead and put these on just like a normal pair of headphones. Now, normally to put on a brain-computer interface, it would take about 20 to 30 minutes. We'd have to put gel all over you, all this other stuff. Yeah, yep, awesome. But essentially what we're going to do right now is we're just having you put it on like a pair of headphones. So I'm going to make sure they're turned on. Okay. Wake up my computer because it decided to fall asleep. And how many of you actually used brain-computer interfaces before? Anybody raise your hand? You two are biased because you guys came here for me, so. All right. And if we could switch to my computer, please. So for those of you that are interested, please stand up and move over here real quick. And we're going to show you some really cool brain-related things. And if you haven't seen a brain-computer interface, this is going to be really sick. So.
And Ramses, is there a website also where some of these, this can be looked at in case folks don't get to see everything we want to see?
Yes. I'll share that in a second. Avon, can you come down to this red chair? And then we'll get everybody over here. Awesome. So, Avon, just have a seat right there. So you guys can see this, this graph here. It represents Avon's focus. Now, Avon, what I want you to do is, do you see these numbers scrolling on the screen right there? I want you to start saying those numbers in your head as intensely as you can. Oh, are you chewing gum? Yeah. Could you take that out real quick? No worries. All right. So go ahead and just start focusing on these numbers as they pop up. Say them in your head as intensely as you can. So you can see that his focus just spiked up, right? Right there. And now that he's distracted, because I'm distracting him, you see it drop down. So go ahead and focus one more time. And then you can see his focus go up. Now I'm going to show you guys something really cool. Hold this for a second. I want you to read this article. So Avon is about to read an article, and you're going to see his focus go up.
This is my favorite headphones at CSE 20.
You can read it in your head. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It's okay. Don't worry.
Don't worry, everybody. It's okay.
All right, awesome. So you see this area right here? This was him reading. Yep. Oh. And then he saw the picture, and it dropped his focus, right? Because he got distracted as he scrolled past this picture right here. And then when he went back to reading, it shot back up, right? So we're tracking his brain activity in real time, something that would require a full scalp EEG to get this level of capability, but we're able to do it essentially with an everyday device, right? So that's the real key type of technology. Cool. Thank you all so much. Avon,
great.
thank
Let's
you.
have a
Round of
hand.
applause for Avon real quick.
Being very creative about the demo there. Let's just get into some group discussion. We have 8 minutes left, and I'd love for you all to hear from these great entrepreneurs. So the question I was asking during our prep, not to spend too much time on this, but I'm wondering, as we look at diagnostic therapies and how the FDA and our health insurance companies are finally paying for things for consumers, are all of you looking at the role that insurance companies will have with this and how doctors are treating this and things like that? So anyone on the panel want to answer that?
So my first customer when we started the toothbrush business was actually Delta Dental from California, because they saw an obvious change of the value. However, and it's quite disappointing, despite the fact that insurers show interest, at this moment, most of the market, not all, are more focusing on short-term, simplified interface, better user experience, less paperwork, so digitization of the user relationship, that's actually lowering the risk, because somehow the risk right now is properly redistributed. The insurance business is actually sharing the risk, because if the risk increase, they will just increase the premium, and that's not bad for their business. So the insurance pathway is a long-term path, but for entrepreneurs who are looking for, I would say, quicker exit, is probably not the best way in many areas, but it needs to be appreciated state by state, because actually insurance is actually regulated quite heavily in the state by state.
Yeah, similarly, we are focused on consumers directly. We have 100,000 customers today. I think insurance is, to your point, the long-term play, but it really, really helps to have the direct consumer feedback right away. Like the number of folks that we get feedback from so immediately and we can iterate on our product is outstanding. So that's our take at the moment.
Ramses?
Yeah, I mean, we're taking a similar approach to like what Apple did. You know, they released a product, but it wasn't a medical product, right? It tracked your heart rate. And then from there, they said, hey, you might have heart arrhythmia, go see a doctor. And now they're FDA approved, and they're going to going through that. And now insurance companies are starting to leverage the data. And so we're taking a similar approach. That way we can collect a ton of data, provide value, and not be overburdened by FDA or insurance as a small startup company.
That's great. I love that. And do you see a moment in time where, you know, all of you are training consumers to be advocates for themselves? So that's going to push the market forward. Am I correct? You know,
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah, I think there is a point where insurers actually are distributors of product and don't know actually how to sell hardware. So eventually, if there is no customer demand, if there is no desirability, if there is no brand, there is no value for the customer, so there is no value for the insurer. So really the customer-first approach is really the only way forward. There is no big incentive, despite whatever we can say long-term, for a manager that stays 3 years in a job to take a risk to actually buy a lot of hardware and try to see the value 5 to 10 years down from the road.
Yeah, wearables really like flip the script. That's the key part, right? Like, think about when you go to the doctor, right? You go to the doctor and they say everything's fine. Go back next year, everything's fine. Go back next year. This happens for 5, 10 years, and then they say, oh, your heart is abnormal, right? It's not that your heart hasn't been abnormal for the last 10 years and it just magically happened. It's probably been happening slowly over the last 10 years, but when they measured your heart at the hospital, they didn't detect it, right? And so wearables are flipping the script because now you can measure that change as it's occurring. You can get that information years beforehand, and that enables preventative care. That enables you to interject earlier. And so that consumer-first approach enables that type of disruption to happen that using our current healthcare system, it's not well set up to do.
Just maybe adding one thing. I think there is two conditions. When people are consumer and when people are patient. And there is a big, big difference. When people are consumer, it's their desire that will drive the adoption. And insurers are not going to push it because it's extra cost for them and the return on investment is too far away in most cases, not all. Then when the consumer is becoming a patient, you're entering a brand new world where once you have proven the clinical value, which is not really, I mean, some of our products are in that space. Some of their products might enter that space. To enter that space takes 2, 3, 4 years to get the FDA approval and to have the clinical to support your claims. But there is a real benefit to the patients and a clinical benefit, then insurers start going in because somehow if there is a better practice of care, then it will be adopted by the healthcare community and become almost mandatory. But that's a completely different game for which startups who go to CES, who have a short innovation cycle, are not really prepared or funded to do.
I'll also add one thing with physicians, right? The insurance companies, that's one thing. The physicians on the other side, we've spoke to countless number of them that are finally getting hip to the idea of, yes, doing this many tests is okay. Even though I was trained in medical school to think differently and taught to do differently, the incentive structure is not set up. There's so many things that are honestly battling preventative healthcare for physicians is they're burnt out. They have 5 minutes to see you. So if we really start to flip the script and say, in your visit, we're super optimizing that time together because we know exactly what we need to get out of it. That is major change in how we do health and think about healthcare.
Let me just ask the tricky question that's a big conversation on the floor right now, and that's just about data security and also the other question in the air for everything right now is sustainability. So are those two conversations also wrapping into what you guys are all doing? Are you looking at, security, and then also, do we make a product that will move forward in this world, where we're limited in resources?
So on security, the biggest weakness of connected device is inventor don't know cybersecurity, otherwise they won't invent because it's so heavy and complicated. So that's why we introduced this BConnect platform to accelerate the best practice of cybersecurity diffusion, as well as implementing the best practices in data privacy, because data privacy best practice are actually not embedded in the software. You have to build it yourself, and you need to build it out of experience. On the sustainability, it's an economic question. What we have seen so far is only a few percentage of the population can afford paying sustainable product. And when people are suffering from purchasing power challenge, they will focus on the price versus sustainability, and that's going to last.
I'll start with sustainability first. If you think about anything proactive or preventative, the idea is to stave off the cost you would have for treating diabetes, treating heart disease. That is a major win if you're able to get that and get that outcome. And then as far as security, absolutely, our members own their data. They choose who they send it to, and that is of utmost priority with Function because that can impact your insurance. It can impact a number of things down the line if we don't keep that top of mind.
Yeah, ours is pretty simple. It's similar to yours. The consumer owns the data. If they want to share it to us, that's wonderful. And by sharing it to us, we give them more value, right? But if they just want to use the product in its simplest form, that's totally fine.
That's awesome. And just because we're running out of time, can you guys do another lightning round of where everybody in the audience can learn more about your platforms so they can play?
Yeah, you can go to Neurable.com and actually see what we're building. Also, come talk to me afterwards. I'm happy to give you guys demos, and you guys can mess around with the system yourself.
Are you on LinkedIn as well, posting about what you're doing?
I am on LinkedIn. You won't be able to add me because I have a blocker on, but I will add you if you show me your QR code.
Oh, I love that privacy issue there. Okay.
I'm on LinkedIn. Pranitha Patil is my name. And then you can learn more about Function by going to functionhealth.com. I'm also happy to chat and answer any questions after this.
I am on all possible platforms, LinkedIn, WeChat, WhatsApp. Thomas Serval, you can find me, or T-Serval on X. We are on CES show floor at Eureka Park in the French Pavilion. And our website has plenty of examples, barcoda.com, BARACODA.com.
Wait a minute, you're French? Just kidding. All right, let's have a big hand for our panelists. Such great entrepreneurs, really changing the way we're going to live our lives. I love it. Thank you guys so much. And please check out all their companies. They're just doing amazing work. Thanks, everybody. This ends this track, but there are more sessions here in the hall, so please check them out and have a great, wonderful, and safe rest of your CES. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, you all. Yep.
Thank you.